friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Danny and I am so not an expert. Today we get to work on clue 3 of our Cotton Cuts Piazza Puzzle Mystery Quilt. I've chosen the large size in the Vittorio Colorway, which is a combination of blacks and bright pinks and oranges and yellows, and I'm really excited to see what this one's going to look like. So I've got it in the mail here. We're going to go ahead and get started with it. If you haven't seen clues 1 and 2, I'll put a link in the description box below so that you can check out those. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. We are doing a lot of fun things here on the channel. All right, let's get to the machine and let's get started. Welcome back to the machine. So I've got all of our pieces laid out here. Now before I get started, I just wanted to mention for clue 3, we're going to be making 2 separate sections, a section A and a section B. Section A is going to consist of 4 pieces and section B is going to be just 1 block, and it looks really, really pretty. I'm excited to make it. It also looks like we're going to be utilizing all of our colors in our colorway for this particular clue. So I'm really excited. I've got my little clue chart up here to let us know which ones we need to do, and we're just going to go ahead and dive right in. So the first thing we're going to be working on is section A. We're going to be taking pieces A and pieces B, and we're going to be making some half square triangles. We need to make 4 of these, so I'm going to go ahead and get started with those. Now, as with all of my clues for cotton cuts, I like to press up after each step just to make sure that everything lays nice and flat so it's ready for the next step. I'm going to let my iron heat up, and I'm going to press these. Now, the directions say to go ahead and press those towards the A fabric, which in my case is that darker fabric. So I'm just going to flip these over real quick, press them up, and I'll bring you guys right back for step 2. Okay, I've got all those pressed up. Now, step 2 tells us we're going to be taking fabric B and fabric D, which in this case are these 2 colorways for me, and we're also going to be making 4 more half square triangles. So I'm going to go ahead and put those together real quick, press them up, and then I will bring you guys right back so we can work on step 3. All right. So I've just finished ironing all of those up, and now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually be sewing these 2 blocks together. Now it says we're going to start with our block A that we had, and we're going to use the A fabric going up like that. And then we're going to take our B one, we're going to take our 2 B fabrics, and we're going to be making a trapezoid? Hexagon? I'm not sure. We're going to be making a line here with our B fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and sew these up together real quick. Now be careful, you are going to have a little bit of bulk on each corner. So if your machine is not great with bulk, just be really careful, go slow. You can also use a walking foot if you have one. It does make things a little bit easier to go through that bulk. I have finally figured out the settings on my machine thanks to one of the subscribers, and I was able to fix it so that it does do a little bit better going through some of this bulk fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and get these sewn up together, and then we're going to be pressing them towards the block A that we started with, which was that A fabric as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get these sewn up together, and I'll see you guys again in just a minute. It has only been a few minutes, guys, and we are already on step 4 of section A. Step 4 tells us that we're going to be using some different blocks here. We're going to be using triangle E and triangle D, which the E is this black bug fabric on my colorway, and triangle D is this retro hat. I'm not even sure what you would call these. It's really pretty fabric. So it's these here. So we're going to go ahead and be making some more half square triangles. We're going to be making 4 of these again. And then once we put these half square triangles together, we're actually going to be attaching a square C, which is this really pretty flower print. We're going to be attaching these squares to the right side next to the D fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and do steps 4 and steps 5, which would be the half square triangles and attaching the squares. And I will bring you guys back as soon as we're done with that. And then it's just a matter of putting all these pieces together to finish up section A.
Your love is like an ocean ready to take sail, swept by current, swallowed by a wave. Take heed, they'll say, no, no need to get
Okay. So step 5 is officially done. Now it's time to move on to step 6. But before we do that, I may have forgotten to mention that all through October I will be wearing pink on all of my videos as best as I can in support of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Ladies, if you have not already, please make sure you schedule those mammograms. Those 10 minutes could save your life. I already have mine scheduled for December. That is usually when I get mine done, so make sure that you have yours scheduled as well. All right, so let's move on to step 6. Step 6 tells us that we're going to be attaching those blocks we made earlier to these blocks. Let me just flip these over like this. We're just going to be taking our first block at the top, with making sure that our A fabric is in the top left corner, which I'm glad I decided to look, because otherwise we would have had to pull Jack out. And then our E fabric is in the upper left corner of the bottom block, so it's going to look like this. Our seams should nest up nicely because of the way we've pressed them, and they do. So I'm going to go ahead and get these sewn up real quick, and I'll be right back with you guys. All right, I've got those all pressed up and ready to go. This is our block, our Clue 3 section A. Isn't it pretty? I'm loving these fabrics. They're so much fun. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get these marked up. Now, you guys know I use a little Post-it note, a quarter sheet of a Post-it note with a safety pin to go ahead and mark up my clues, just so that I have them all marked up and ready to go. I'm going to get this one marked up, and then I'll bring you guys right back so we can start that section. All right, so I went ahead and got that one all marked up and ready to go. So we'll set that one aside for now. We'll take a look at it again a little bit more in the future. Right now we're going to be working in section 3B. Section 3B says that the first thing we're going to need to do is join 2 C fabrics to this F fabric here. So the directions are very specific, and they tell us to make sure that we start on opposite ends and do one side first, open those up, sew those, press those, and then do the next side. And that's so that these corners line up really nice and perfect. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do first. So I am going to line these up as best I can. Now, if you're having struggles with trying to make sure that these are going to line up just the way you want them to, the first thing I always do is I like to fold these pieces in half, and I just give them a little bit of a mark right here in the center. Nothing too crazy, but just a little bit of a crease right there, so they kind of give me a little bit of a fold. And then I do the same thing to my square fabric as well. And so now what I do is I take those 2 marks and I line them up together, and that tells me exactly how they're nice and marked up right to the center. So I'm going to go ahead and get these sewn up together, both sides, and then we'll get them pressed towards the outside. So that one is pressed up. Go ahead and fold this in half again. Now our triangles should actually match up pretty well if we've done this correctly, but I'm trying to be careful and make sure that I'm matching up the square and not the triangles, because I want to make sure my pieces are centered to the square and not the triangles. got those 2 pieces marked. And then I'm just going to take these and mark these. Step 2 says we're going to be taking these fabric Ds and we're going to be attaching these to this square as well. So we're going to actually be doing these along the edges here, and the pieces should match up pretty well. If you want to, you can still do the middle trick if you want, but the edges are going to match up pretty close because of the way Cotton Cuts has cut everything for us. So I'm just going to go ahead and get these sewn up. Just like before, you're going to want to do the opposite side. So I've just done this side, and then I'm going to go ahead and flip this one out like that. I'm going to flip it around, and I'm going to do the other side. Then I will hard press them with the iron, and then add the other 2 sides. All right, this is what we've got so far. Now, last piece is to add these bigger triangles to the ends as well. Now, these got a little bit of crinkled in transit, so I'm going to go ahead and give these a quick press just to make sure they lay nice and flat for me when I'm trying to sew them. All right, so now we just attach these. Guys, time for the big reveal. Here we go. Ta-da! I love these colors. Aren't they awesome? I love them so much. That, my friends, is clue 3, section B. And here once again is section A. You see I put my little mark on here. And I'll do that with my 3B. And that is it, my friends. This one was a little bit of a challenge. This one here, this block here was a little bit of a challenge, making sure those corners were lined up. But you guys can see, I did not cut off a single corner, and I am very proud of myself for that. So, if I can do it, I know you guys can do it too. All right, guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit that subscribe button so you'll be able to keep up with us on this project. And if you haven't already, make sure to check out our So Sweet project. We're going to be on clue 9 this week. That's right, clue 9. So we've got one more clue to go before the big reveal. I think they said, Cotton Cuts said they're going to do the reveal the first week in November. I want to say it was the 5th of November. I'm not really sure. But I might have something a little bit fun in the works for our reveal on our channel. So you guys will have to stick around and check that out. We also do live streams on Sunday mornings at 10:30 a.m. Central Time. And I would love to see you guys there. We're working on some pretty fun projects. We're going to be starting a new one in November. And we're finishing up one that we've been working on for a little while now. All right, guys. Thanks again so much. And I will see you guys again next time. Bye.